Hello, everybody. Let's get that off the screen. How you guys doing? I hope you're having a lovely week. I have... Oh gosh, I forgot where we left off. I have more new additions. I never did show you my setup before, but I had a terrible mic stand that was like reaching over my third monitor and I could barely see chat. And I have swapped out that mic stand this week as well. And so I get to enjoy like the big beautiful screen and fully get to see chat, and it's lovely. Neyyah gas system activation console. Okay. Transportation tower signal. That's the transportation tower that is at... I think that's the one that's at Glorfiak Mines. Yes. Right? I have that same symbol drawn on literally 4 different pages here, being the thing. I am absolutely going to enjoy being able to see chat easier. Absolutely, no question. No question. I think it's the one at Glorfiak Mines. We now have green, yellow, red, blue, green, red, yellow, blue, green, blue, red, yellow as different activation codes. And I think this might be a trial and error day. I want to double check that this one is the one for Glorfiak Mines Transportation Tower. That's what I want to check before I go anywhere else. Where... Oh. I'm at the Neyyah gas system at Ludwig Tower. That's where I am. Okay. And this... Sensors are inactive. Right. Okay. I think I have reoriented myself. I wonder if we need... This looks like one of those things that should... That's not what I wanted to look at. This looks like one of those things that has the orange crystal if we activate it. And that right there is the symbol. We saw different variations of that when we were getting the Voke cabinet codes. The morning, afternoon, noon kind of thing. And we know that we need 4 of this as part of the Neyyah gas activation code. At least we know what that symbol is now. And then that will probably... They really do look like speakers. Speaker drums. Okay. So I am once again heading to Glorfiak Mines. And the mines are yellow, which is this way. Is there anything? Not really. I keep wondering if there's other hints here that I've missed. Okay. All right, you. No, not you. You. I can't even see the symbol. Yes. Thank you for the reminder, Maple. I have that written down. I'm not going to be able to find the diary until we have the plant actually lowered properly. We put... Right. This was a thing that we had figured out. Unable to retrieve signal from Lab HQ portal. Jalude signal lost. I have no clue what that means. It scares me because the destination is Olujay, and this is probably the event that signals Smolix that he should come, because clearly something's wrong. Unable to retrieve signal from Lab HQ portal. Jalude signal is lost. This has been selected. We can switch it back. Connection successful. And now we can't switch it again. Okay. One of 2 signal transmissions received at Lodvik. This is the transportation tower, right? Surely. We put in a color code last week, and it switched. Maybe I put in the code. Maybe I put in the code for the Jalude. Oh yeah. I've got glasses that can read this. Aha. And it's boarded up, of course. And these are the taps that don't work. The whole place is full of bad plumbing. Okay, let's head back to HQ. Maybe that isn't the event. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm just not accurately attributing things that happened earlier in the game when I didn't quite know what was going on yet. Is there... This is the practice Mayorta gas? Not practice, but like... This isn't the one that actually... Yeah. This is the template backup. This is the power for the Velotron. That's all that's in here. Okay. Don't need to go down there anymore. Do need to go up here. Always at least one more time. Yeah. It doesn't like numbers. I'm wondering if it's because the... Like, I think the numbers and the letters are two different languages. Cameras. This wasn't it. Activation status. Those are all good. Right. Diverter tower. Diverter tower on arrival sector continues to provide a strong signal, enabling a successful transmission of symbols to the binoculars connected to the Neyyah Platinum System number 2. The Alopolite shield is now nothing but a ruin, looming above the diverter tower like a corpse. And those binoculars stationed at the watchtower nearby serve no purpose anymore. While this continues to provide a steady source of power for the Neyyah, I do believe it would be wise to consider constructing a new system. Make sure transmission from arrival sector to HQ lab sector at the diverter tower remains strong for the Neyyah operations to be performed successfully. The Neyyashka depends on it. So maybe I need to go back to Harbor Zone? Maybe that? Active, 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 right. Got fuel, that's not the issue. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Programmed with the alphabet, not programmed with the number constellations. And I remember there was a note with it that said something about, like it had been Vamir's pet project to help the workers translate things, and it never had been supported or funded or whatever by Smolix. And so he had to abandon it. And the pair we found are just a prototype. And he was trying to figure out what to do with the prototype and was thinking of giving them to his son. I remember a note that was something about that. Maybe it was the journal. Harbor zone, harbor zone. This way. Harbor zone is... Harbor zone is from the sleep tower area? That wasn't... Yeah, that was the note paired with the glasses. Okay. That was kind of my guess, is that it was never a fully completed project. Therefore, it's not going to actually have comprehensive translation ability. This should be Harbor Zone. Yes. Okay. Let's double check. Because we haven't really looked at the power over here since we set it up. Not really, really. Power to this. Or this. I think this is set up correctly. I mean, the switch is toggled, but what does that do? Yeah, that's the correct. I'm not sure what I just flicked, but maybe it'll make a difference. This symbol keeps showing up, the plain horizontal line. And I know that it's associated with red, not just from that vote cabinet. In the series of, in the sequence of symbols we were given at some point. It showed up. I didn't write it down. That was not a good choice. Okay, where am I going? Back to the Majorda gas portal, I think. Okay. Did that actually make a difference? Haha! Okay. Perfect. Excellent! Okay. Goodness, it's a noisy machine. We still need... There's no Paida here. We've got a shielded Paida here that it won't accept. We can't move this. We're gonna have to go... back to the Villatron Temple. Are you lit up? Not yet. Okay. Villatron Temple is... too far. Villatron Temple is Clicky Rock. Yeah, I think so too, Maple. That was where we saw that we needed the position of the sun and time of day and location, something like that. Which makes me wonder if we are teleporting something. Because that's basically like coordinates, right? Did I finish reading these? Sharus's destruction of the Villatron Temple Bridge. Sun position, location, temperature. That sounds right, Zoe. Sharus is the fake... creation of the underground rail system, right? Sharus is the one who is mimicking the role of the What are they called? You know, you'd think these words would stick in my brain eventually. Peoltish clan. And taking on aspects of it themselves. And everybody thinks it's an abomination. Minecart ride. Okay. Lavandus zone. Right. What? There was something over this way that I don't think was super relevant, but it was Velatron Island. Oh, that's a new symbol. The circle with a horizontal line through it. Oh, I see where we are. Yeah. It's fantastic lore, but not super relevant. Did we actually... We didn't get a chance to translate these. Cleansing of the Paida. Okay. Creation of the Paida. Makes sense. Remind me to look at that big mural at Penorvia Point, because that one had a big chunk of text that we could be translating. Deliverance of the Paida. Harvesting of the Paida. Cool. The different stages. Definitely still want to see if there's a way down into that area. But there might not be. Red, green, blue, yellow. Good call. Red, green, blue, yellow. I don't know if the mural is going to make a difference, but we'll see. Won't hurt to try. Okay. And these aren't clickable. This is just something... This is 10. That's got to be 5. And that just says levels. So at some point that's got to show levels of something. That's fair. Small screens are hard to tell. That's the portal to the temple. that we've turned on, and there's nowhere else to go. So, in we go. Hold up. Why did it say look down? Oh. That's interesting. And also a little bit unsettling. Bellatron Temple. Do we know? This won't open. That won't do anything. We need to put something in here. Do you want a shielded Paida? You do not. Or a processed spore. You do not. Okay. Don't know how to turn the Velotron on yet. We've got the two sides to this. Are there words above the door? Not so much. Anything else in the inventory we could try? There's honestly, I don't have a lot. Based on the shape of the space, it looks like something relatively roundish to put in. The canister, I still feel like we should probably fill with fuel before putting it into something. Okay, we have it was RBGY in the painting. Okay. Thank you, Zoe. So this takes us to the guardhouse, the guard tower that has been teleported away. And we were supposed to see the binocular locations. We're supposed to see very cool plants. That's a different symbol again, too. That's a plus sign. I think the sea monster that's in this is the one that's on top of Sharus's head in the drawings. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the video messages. That's right. And then this one. This is the page. Mayorta Gas System Portal Activation Code. We've got the 4 sun positions and then red, blue, green, yellow, which is the same order as in the mural. So, the 4 sensors are active. We've got sun position, the one I call afternoon, the location, position, and the temperature. I don't know if we know what that number is. That is a 2. And a 3. Ostensibly, could be a 23. I don't remember if I'd written this down before. So I'm gonna write it down again. Location, temperature, remote cabinet sensors deactivate. I don't know why we would want them deactivated. I feel like we don't want them deactivated. Or maybe we want red deactivated? It's making a window sound, and it's very funny to me. Does this set of cabinet components match anything? It doesn't. The sun position is the same as yellow. The location is the same as blue, and the temperature is different from everybody's. None of these are clickable. Let's leave them active. Neyyah activation required for further operations. The binoculars are inactive. I should go back upstairs to the Neyyah plant. All the way up, up, up. That's where I should go. Which book cabinets have been found? I have found all 4 of them at this point. I have... That's my page of vote cabinet note. And so I've got sun positions and locations and temperatures for each of them. I think there wasn't anything else here. This thing that I can't switch, and then this thing that it's just gonna tell me if things are running or not. So. Is there... I don't think there's a fast travel spot here. this the right journal? This is Arbor Peta, Lavandus, Panorvia Glorfiac, Beach Scarlatti. Yeah, no fast travel here. So we go back the slow way. Okay. Our Lady. Now you Neyyah activation code. Red. Blue. Green. Red, blue, green, yellow. That's what we currently have in there. That would be red, green, blue, yellow. We could try it. Well, hold on. Top. Aha. Okay, so it was Neyyah was red, green, blue, yellow. Further operations of Neyyah are available on Neyyah Platinum System number 2. Excellent. And this will be the code, probably, that we put in over there, which is green, blue, red, yellow. Okay. That's probably what we'll need. Okay. Site number 2. Do we think site number 2 means back at the Velatron Temple? Or... the Lodvik Tower? We should check the Lodvik Tower. Which is on the other side. Oh, it's right there. A journal had... I'm glad you took note. I have too many notes, it seems. Okay. Any different here? Yorda gas system activated, right? We had turned that on. We needed to see what was going on here. This is probably inactive still, yeah. I suddenly very much do not like being in here because it's very noisy. Okay. Velatron Temple is where we're headed then. There was a puzzle at the Pelska Shrine. Did that get solved? An orange light on above that speaker on the right. Yeah, Albert, the... it is the glow of the lamp, and I think there's going to be an orange crystal that shows up there. The puzzle at the Pelska Shrine didn't get solved yet. I'm terrified of going there because... once I solve that one, I know that's the thing that calls Smolix. And I'm very nervous about doing that. I want to make sure I'm, like, ready. And I need to have that journal read before I call Smolix. Velatron Temple. Back through the clickable rock. Okay. This one. Heaters are active. Binoculars are inactive. Oh. I probably have to go back to HQ and switch where the binoculars are sending signals. I bet you that's what I gotta do. The nice thing about stumbling around for the first half of this is that by the second half of it, you kind of feel like you know what you're doing. Almost. I want to know... Oh, you know what I didn't check? If I deactivate this here, I can't unhear the Windows sound. That doesn't change it. Okay, so it's not a real-time indicator. Okay. HQ. This is one area where I wish there was... Like, it takes so many multiple portals, which I get, because for lore reasons it needs to be really secure, but it takes so many portals to get back and forth from the Velatron temple. I wish there was a fast travel there. Okay. HQ. That's where we're going. By the time I get to somewhere where I can use the Pelska portal, I forget where I'm going. The Lorpiak Mines. Okay. So we need to switch the cameras so that they're transmitting to site number 2. Velatron traversal reminds me of visiting the keep of a castle. So many layers of protection to get through. So far away from the main thoroughfare. Yeah, absolutely. That's accurate. Cameras. That's not what we need. We need this one, I think. Diverter. Oh, it's the diverter tower. Is that where I need to switch it? Is that why it's called a diverter tower? Once the Neyyah is fueled by the activation cabinet and a 2-part symbol is transferred to Neyyah Platinum System number 2. Once the Neyyah is fueled via an activation cabinet and a 2-part symbol is successfully transferred to Neyyah Platinum System number 2, the Neyyah will take less than a minute to reach the point B destination. So this is the thing. If I can figure out how to get the binoculars to pay attention to the right thing, how to get this to switch, and I think it's the diverter tower. The diverter tower on arrival sector continues to provide a strong signal, enabling a successful transmission of symbols to the binoculars connected to the Neyyah Platinum System number 2. Yeah. I think that's it. While we're here, you should double check you've picked everything up. Do you mean... Where are you thinking, Maple? In HQ, or are you thinking, what's that room where we found the Paida frequencies? Missing an item to put into the machine. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's something to craft, or if that's something that we should have picked up. These are all things that we've read a few times. There's not really any of these that are pick-upable. Is this the place with the big painting? That big painting, yes. That one? The door to the right of the painting, yes. That is Vamir's bedroom. Quarters? That's fair. We haven't looked at anything in here since the first time we've been through. So that's very fair. Paida, it's a powerful word. On Olujay, Paida's only mount to labs, one-way glass windows, black curtains, locked doors. On top of the Belindi Hills, I run the operations in a place where all the magic happens. The people who live down our street believe what I do is his work. Did I miss reading this at some point? No. Surely not. I just don't remember it. The thought dust aftermath of his beckoning, his machine breath. If I hear Smolix say this to me one more time, I swear I'll set up a Quillivian of my own and trap him inside while he sleeps. Well, I'm working on it, but it won't be no Quillivian. And I want to make sure he's conscious when the teleportation takes place. The bunker's already set up, just as Erntor instructed. Neyyah will provide what is needed. I struggle with my thoughts tonight. While I have successfully set up the Mayorta gas system and tested the orange Paida required to power it, I can't help but be reminded of the near-death experience that came as a result of not thinking clearly when testing it a month or two ago. I I can't blame Neyyah for this incident. I knew a dispute would arise after telling her about the certain precautions I've set up here at the lab. Wakara Security continue to insist that I upgrade the VED N80 security doors, even though I've gone down to their offices in person, explaining I can maintain the systems myself. I'm sure Smolix is behind it. So I decided to block them on the bank system, and I understand. That's why the email was blocked. And I understand Taleva's irritation at what could only lead to more suspicion and problems from the powers above. I have noticed a change in her mood lately. While I'm aware she worries about me, I'm also sensing a growing resentment in her towards what my work entails. The sacrifice. The relentless thunderstorm above our heads, rumbling, what if? My love, I will strive to make sure nothing happens to our family. We are so close now. 2 months ago, I had to escape the lab's Mayorda chamber. I reckon I have never climbed up a ladder so fast in all my life. The Mayorda gas erupted way too quickly. After I miscalculated the Paida activation lever's speed in vaporizing the glass of the table, which keeps the Mayorda gas cloud contained. Memory doesn't serve me well as it used to, so I set up some posters to remind me to carry a mask on me at all times whenever entering any of the Mayorda gas areas. I can't continue to dwell on this setback. Perhaps I'm tired. One of Taleva's shoulder massages would be perfect right now. I'm very proud of my accomplishments, especially in tinkering with the components of the tube portals. I remember attending one of the early expeditions to excavate the caves where the Mayorda gas had been discovered. I was a young man back then. I still recall the Binoxi screeches, my hands covered in green moss from the cave walls as I steadied myself, traipsing down into the ink-black pools of darkness filling those ancient tunnels. I'm glad Smolix pushed for the tube portals to be created. They now serve a great purpose here on Neyyah. This is the instrument, by the way, that is on that machine. My adjustments to a specific tube portal have required the use of other devices. On the Bannock system, I've managed to keep locations of the tube portals classified. Can't hide the sensors very easily. This is why I need to keep as many people off Neyyah as possible. While I know Taleva is sick with frustration, I'm sure she understands. One side effect of the Mayorda gas eruption is that even with wearing a gas mask, somehow a vision will take place. For the moment, I felt I was actually in the place I needed to teleport to, even though I'm only activating the tube portal in that moment. If I was to pursue further research into the Mayorda gas, I'm sure I could generate a teleportation from the very gas itself. I've tried hard to conceal my escape route from Neyyah, despite the use of sensors. However, I decided not to set up a security camera console for it. The location will make itself known anyway once the Mayorda gas is released, and I believe the portal to the Velotron machine doesn't necessarily require a camera system either. I may dismantle this at some point. I could have saved Ernter the trouble of sending me a new camera system for the transportation tower security code and just use this one instead. I'll keep one of the Paidas here in my quarters for now, but I believe the key to my escape route back to Neyyah requires higher security and protection. This is the shielded Paida that we've picked up. Okay. And there's the family. And there's nothing else there. Nothing else there. Well, good information, but nothing to pick up, it seems. How are we? Oh, I see. For some reason, I thought that other one was the door. Okay. This shielded Paida is the one that I think we're gonna need. Yeah. I think it's the one that we're going to need to escape. That's my hunch. It was worth a shot. And I'm glad we were back in. I don't remember reading that note before. So I'm glad we took a look. This one's Mason's room. There really isn't anything in here at all. After you've fueled the Neyyah, go straight to the Neyyah heater chamber. I'll meet you there once I've accessed Neyyah System 2 and lowered the Neyyah. Remember to keep the plasma shield open. I have a little experiment, one which Smolix would no doubt feed me to the Benoxy-4. That's interesting. I wonder if we should turn off the shield. And also the amount of water, like, it's not gonna let me look. Let's go back this way. But like, there's water in the ceiling and water in the floor. There's nothing. Yeah, we can't go over there. Okay. Nope, not gonna let us look. Anyway. I do think we've found everything we're gonna find in here. Platinum site number 2. Oh, diverter tower. That's where we're going. Which means harbor zone. This way. And then I think oh yeah, we can just come back because Bellatron system is through the clickable rock. So we don't need to go back to HQ. Okay. Diverter tower is this guy. So what are we're switching from red location to yellow location? Maybe that's what this is? We will see. Does that... So we gotta go back and check. At the Velatron Temple. I always go the wrong way. Did that activate the binoculars? Yes! Excellent. Okay. That means... binoculars are active. The symbol is received. Nope. We have those symbols already. Those are the ones from the cameras. That... excellent. What did we just pick up? Important. Must do this before Orion's processing initiation. Haynes' journal is safe and secure. I couldn't keep it here, or in any hideaway I've stationed on Neyyah. I felt like it needed its own secluded special spot. The Velatron Temple seemed the most fitting place for such a soldier. I took some of the weapons found around Neyyah and splayed them out around the book, too. It will rest peacefully there, his last words before the battle was fought to protect the Velatron machine against the invading forces of Shrus Califrakel and his Alopolite army. What really interests me is Hand's use of what Olujarians term as the English language, deriving from our ancestors who once existed on Ragnarian, back when it was called Earth. However, oh, I love that. This is like a kind of like Battlestar Galactica, where Earth as we know it is like the far distant past. However, I used to hear tell of this language termed as whisper tongue in the days of Tulimbari, before it became a native, well-spoken language amongst the further developed cultures of Fazalta. Galahanti was a very well-versed dialect before it later became a more coded, less used language among Fazaltian warriors, broadcasted via the Galanti podiums, built at certain watch points, such as the harbor of Falitzu Island. There's such an interesting link between Fazalta and Oluj. Technically, the more ancient world of Tulimbari, which later became Fazalta, while Earth later became Bragnarian. How were these two distant worlds connected? Heian's journal made me consider so many possibilities. I do wonder how much Smolix knows. How much he is in fact hiding to himself, hiding alongside Karaltavoka. 4231. Victory, as Smolix calls it. Victory to our people for vanquishing the betrayers. I can't help but pity the man, now so crazed and obsessed with finding Bragnarian again, finding Karhaltavoka, a creature best left in the shadows. If we are to find light, we must right the wrongs, cut out the lies, and expose the truth for what it is. Smolix trapped the survivors of Fazalta in the Quilivian. Now I will trap him. 4231, definitely victory. Victory for the Fazaltians, for the Pelskas, for us. The combination required to activate the bunker teleportation system is a translation of 4231 in flora symbols and constellation number symbols. Once these two translations are successfully on the console, only then will the plasma suction initiate and bring Smolix into the bunker as he arrives on Neyyah. I must get this right upon opening the console, otherwise Smolix will arrive at the Jalud arrival station close by, and he will be armed. Once he's imprisoned inside the bunker, I must make sure he doesn't break out. I'll guard the bunker door, check inside if necessary. I must give Orion enough time to initiate the teleportation process. A healthy, full Neyyashka spore needs to be offered in order to complete the passing successfully. Anything else and Orion will not be able to proceed with the teleportation. I'm so thankful she has successfully connected to Quan, a land far away from Neyyah, deeper into the heart of the Fazaltian lands. Everything is set up, ready for Smolix's arrival. He will no longer be able to get back to Oluj. After following Ernter's instructions on setting up the various components required to create a successful teleportation system at the bunker, I did consider the possible problems that could occur upon initiating the process of bringing Smolix down into the bunker. What if someone else came to Neyyah instead of Smolix? I understand the Ronaldo Temple will be notified of the alarm that will be signaling from Neyyah. In times past, I have witnessed Smolix come down himself and land at the Jalud station opposite the bunker. I'm sure, considering this moment in time where Smolix is so alert to things taking place on Feamor, especially with the activity picked up from the very heart of Fazalta, he won't hesitate to come down himself, especially if there's a possibility that the Quilivian might once again be within his grasp. Quan awaits. Everything there is set up, ready for Smolix's arrival. Just hope Orion is right. This is the one place on Feamor that the Pelskas were able to retreat to after the war Smolix besieged upon Fazalta. I'm told by Orion that herself and the other Pelskas will take care of Smolix. My only regret is sending Ivan and Theo out there alongside their daughters, Erlysia and Novalia. I'm hoping Smolix's entrapment on Quan may spark some activity into their whereabouts and safety. I've noticed Mason snooping around the bunker recently. I believe he's aware of my communications with Orion. However, he will find it difficult getting inside. The bunker's now sealed off. and the only entry being the plasma suction initiated through bringing Smolix's Jalud down into the bunker once he arrives on Neyyah. My first communications with Orion here on Neyyah were uneasy. I'm aware now that she's in hiding, alongside the other Pelskas of Fizalta, at the heart of Feamor, in an ancient place called Quan, where the Fizaltian lord and high ruler Quananovic once resided. Through using Neyyashka spores, Fizaltian constellation numbers, and flora symbols, I was able to generate a gateway for her to be able to pass through into Neyyah using the Pelska Shrine. The old machines there were once manned by many men, enabling her to physically materialize into Neyyah. However, when the Quilivian was sealed, so their power was drained, and they were essentially cut off from being able to enter their Philidians and unable to protect them. I've also learned a lot from Orion, as well as delving into my own research. There's plenty more information I could discover within the halls of Ronalda Temple, but the high priests have powerful systems in place to keep guard of vital information relating to their work on the Leflamian Temple and bringing Olajay back to Bregnarian. I think it's important that I account in this journal as much as I know so far regards the history of Olajay and how the betrayal really came to be. From what I'm aware, over the couple or so centuries that have passed since our arrival here in Feamor, the original dwellers of Fizalta welcomed our broken world with open arms. Torn from Bregnarian, our surviving part of the planet somehow passed through a space vortex known as Tilibran Karna, an experimental force of magic generated by the Banox that became catastrophic and untamed, ripping a hole through time and space. We left behind our devastated planet and were transported into the world of Feamor, protected in a plasma bubble formed by the Tilibran Karna, unable to touch the land or oceans beneath. Very soon, the people of Fizalta came to Olajay, offering peace and knowledge of their world, healing the wounded, and sharing their technologies in order for us to start again. Through the use of mysterious magical pearls grown on Feamor, known as Paida, the Olajay was able to maintain its crumbling land from falling into oblivion as the Tilibran Karna's magic started to waver. At the heart of the Ronalda Temple, there sits a Paida so powerful that its energy source keeps the land afloat while generating a powerful gravitational pull on the land. This Paida is known as Neyyah, and it is a symbol of life, strength, and power to Olajay. Neyyah was a gift from the peaceful, good-natured people of Fizalta, a Paida forged by their lord and master, Quananovic, who was not only ruler over all Fizalta, but also a very close ally to the Pelskas. He was a mysterious being who defied age and had powers not even the Pelskas could truly fathom. Alongside Quananovic, the Pelskas generated the original pearl form of Paida deep within the oceans of Feamor, and each Pelska controlled the growth of these pearls from 6 different islands, which the Fizaltians called Philidians. They became the guardians to the Philidians. Over the years, magnificent mechanisms, cranes, rail carts, etc., have been designed by the people of Fizalta to take the Paidas to their cities on Fizalta and generate power to keep their people protected and thriving, living with respect and love for the Pelska. Upon discovering Olajay, Quananovic wanted to share the power of the Paida. Electricity, food sources, anything to enable them to conduct the research they needed, sustaining whatever remained of their home world of Bregnarian. The Yopelash was created, a portal which connected the Paida factory to the Blue Philidian, which later became Neyyah, to the heart of the Ronalda Temple on Olajay. Many years continued to pass, all the while the alliance between Fizalta and Olajay strengthened. Upon Olajay, the Paidas were manipulated in various ways to generate all sorts of magical properties, while some Paidas were taken into the Ronalda Temple to help further developments on the Leflamian portal, a gateway being developed by the high priests of the temple, magicians in their own right, working alongside a very clever engineer by the name of Smolix Mehmet. However, the Fazaltians' trust in the Olajarian world would only seal their doom. Smolix had been mastering the plans for the Leflamian portal and began to experience what he called the machine breath. Visions and communications from a surviving Bannock's leader of Bragnarian called Karaltavoka. For centuries, his ancestors had coincided with the Fazalta to form an alliance which kept their world alive, but he believed they could have more. The design of the Leflamian portal wasn't enough. It needed more power. He believed the people of Fazalta knew of power sources which could speed up the activation of the Leflamian portal, enough to send Olajay back to Bragnarian. A betrayal took place. The Olajarians were made to believe that the Fazaltians saw Olajay as a threat to their planet, and Quinanovic wanted the technology the Olajarians had been developing. He wanted the Leflamian portal for himself. The people of Fazalta apparently feared that the harvesting of the powerful Paida, which had kept their lands alive for so long, was beginning to fail them. They needed a new world. Omnissiah, yes, 40k vibes, absolutely, Zoe, 100%. They needed a new world to live in, and the people of Fazalta would do anything to save their people, even if it meant turning their backs on the Olajarians. To defend his people, Smolix took it upon himself to create a portal system, which he called the Quilivian, connected to a desolate lost realm known as Quilivia, that his father, Nuteshu, had been introduced to by Quinanovic, after experimenting with frequencies that could link the Leflamian portal to the other worlds in search for their own. It was a barren world, a wasteland, and now the gateway to this world lay at Smolix's fingertips. As the Fazaltians marched upon Olajay far below on Fazalta, Smolix stepped up and put himself between Olajay and the marching army of Fazaltians. He activated the Quilivian and raised it above his head, holding it as best he could, fighting against the formidable force emitted from its heart, opening a doorway into Quilivia by sucking all the Fazaltians, including the 4 rulers of Fazalta, into the Quilivian. Of course, this was all a lie, told over the years, keeping Smolix Mehmet in power as Lord of Olajay, master of the Leflamian portal, the guide who will return Olajay back to their home of Bragnarian. Over the last while, I've delved into enough of Smolix's plans and discovered so much from Orion, strengthening my connection with the Pelska line to know what really happened. Smolix ordered the high priests to entrap the 4 rulers of Fazalta, Belakane, Yanarda, Damiti, and Tassili into the Quilivian. They were led into the Ronaldo Temple under the false assumption that they were simply inspecting work on the Leflamian portal. What they thought was the portal turned out to be the Quilivian, and they were deceived. Once the 4 rulers were trapped, the Pelska's energy was weakened, and they were left vulnerable to the elements of Feamor. They retreated, unable to defend Fazalta, their power drained from them, and they fled into secret safe zones set up in Quan. They had to protect themselves. Smolix took charge of Olajay. He rushed over Fazalta, killing many in his path while capturing a fair few along the way, who he later rounded up in big groups and forced into the Quilivian. Quinanovic fought against Smolix, resisted the Quilivian, and disappeared into the depths of the ocean, never to be seen again. Kron was a title later given to Smolix by Olajay. It meant great vision. Smolix was praised for being a hero, when in fact he'd turned his back on the very people who'd kept him alive all this time on Feamor. The Quilivian had been used, the Pelskas had fled, and Fazalta had fallen to the hands of Smolix and Olajay. As the years passed, Smolix continued to reign. He kept the Quilivian at the Rinalda Temple. The Paidas began to lose their energy source, and the Neuralia Paida, keeping Ologé together, was weakening. One of the high priests believed what they had done in the past had cursed them and attempted to flee Ologé. His name was Lamalta, and he was going to reopen the Quilivian, set free the priests of Fizalta, and pray for forgiveness. However, in his attempts to open the device, a portal manifested outside the temple, high above Ologé, and a bright light vaporized Lamarda and pulled the Quilivian into its glowing heart. The Quilivian was lost that day, and Smolix has never been able to find it. Countless search parties were sent to try and locate Quan, the ancient homeland of the Fizaltians where Quananovic once lived. However, it seemed to have mysteriously vanished. The land was no more, as if it had never existed. Recently, signals erupted from the quiet waters of Feamor. Quakes deep underwater and a strange string of unidentifiable words sounded in the Rinalda Temple. Frequencies, voices, alien. Quan had awoken. A ship called the Inceptus Biancana was sent to Feamor in search of the signal's location. 2 scientists were sent down, Ivan and Theo, part of the group of workers manufacturing and manipulating the power sources of various sized Paidas, 2 great men who worked for me. Their daughters, Novalia and Erlysia, went with them to aid them in their expedition and to learn about Fizalta. 2 years have passed, and we've lost all communication with them. They, too, have disappeared. But now these signals, could it be them? Have they found Quan? While Smolix is still the master of Ologé, he has dismissed their disappearance and is draining the last of the Neuralia's power sources at the heart of Rinalda Temple to speed up the process of activating the Laflammian portal. Now I await the Old One, a being who will be pulled from our past world of Earth. Before the plague devastated the planet, the humans were transformed into our old masters, the Bannock's dragons. After suffering the side effects of a vaccine that didn't cure them. Instead, it deformed them and ruined their world. Myself, Smolix, we are the result of their engineering. The Bannocks wanted to replicate their old human selves and created us, slaves to the Bannocks, servants of Bragnarian. The Old One is a true human, one with the ability to enter Quan and find the Quilivian, and in doing so, freeing the Fizaltians once and for all. While work continues in my fight to bring Smolix to justice, I also have to make sure work continues on Neyyah to help bring a better world to Ologé, even once the Fizaltians have returned to reclaim their world, their Philidians. The Philitsu plants are so precious. Their roots could be the link between Ologé and Fizalta, a new way to establish a connection between both our worlds, to establish peace and community. I do fear that some of the Philitsu plants aren't receiving the right nutrients needed within the current setups at the Philitsu Dome. I will look into acquiring some solution pumps from Ologé, which are used in the gardens at Rinalda Temple. Once a week, mechanisms could be set up to spray the Philitsu plants. I've tried to make more regular trips to the dome, but very recently, Smolix has been calling me back to Ologé to deal with training assistants and their learning programs. Changing this and changing that. Some of it makes no sense. I feel it's only a distraction. I feel he's trying to steer me away from Neyyah. It was only the other day I noticed 2 of my young students have not returned, ever since Smolix started spot checks and bringing students to his office. What is Smolix up to? If my main avenues of leaving Neyyah were blocked off, I would then need an emergency escape plan. An orange Kula Paida is required for the Mayorda gas system I've set up at the Lodvik Tower. To keep it protected, I've used a unique red paste coating, which needs to be taken off before I can use it. This can be done easily with some good old-fashioned Fizaltian cleansing. The Peoltish clan will be my side in this task, I know it. The old one shall arrive soon. I must get everything ready at the Sky Chamber, as Orion requested. In the name of Fizalta, this has to work. It has to. Okay. So we need to cleanse the Paida, the shielded Paida that we have. Cleanse Paida. And 4231. Yeah. We need 4321. No. 4231. I said it right. I wrote it wrong. 4231 in a mix of flora and constellation, which we'd already gotten earlier. Three is the mushroom symbol. One is the branchy flower one. I have the drawing. Oh dear. Yawns have started. 8:45, not bad. Combination required to activate the bunker teleportation system is a translation of 4231 in flora and constellation. Once these two translations are successfully on the console, only then will the plasma suction initiate and bring Smolix into the bunker as he arrives on Neyyah. The sacrifice. I gotta figure out how to cleanse. Okay. Flora and constellation. Paida cleansing. We need to look into. Surely the temple will cleanse it. I mean, that makes sense. Where is... There was something about the sacrifice. Where did I see that? I thought it was earlier. I must give Orion enough time to initiate the teleportation process. A healthy, full Nyashka spore needs to be offered in order to complete the passing successfully. Last page or so said something about cleansing at the Sky Temple. Yeah. And we have those murals that show the cleansing process. Healthy, full Neyyah spore. Which I think is that plain whole spore that I've got. Processed spore, full spore. This one. I think this is the one. Healthy, full Neyyah spore needs to be offered. Yeah. Anything else, and Orion will not be able to proceed with the teleportation. I wonder if there's different outcomes depending on which spore I give Orion. It also mentioned the Pelska Shrine. Yes, I think you're correct. Talks about the Pelskas, which are the different deities, minor deities. That, like, Orion is one of them. Okay. Neyyah spore. Healthy and full. Which I'm going to guess refers to that raw one that I have. Beta cleansing. I think. Let's see if we can. We'll see if the Velatron Temple will accept the Paida. This way. That won't open yet. And this, we can't put the shielded Paida in. Okay, this might be a thing for next week. Cleansing. The cleansing mural was here on this side. If I could put one of the... I didn't try putting the Paida in, I guess. I think that's the cleansing one. Let's go this way. Because this one is... harvesting. Pretty sure this one's the cleansing one. Nope, that's deliverance. That's the Paeta factory. Creation. Is it really the last one? That looks like the Velotron machine. Those look like these funky flowers. That looks like the portal. Why does the picture of the canister show it with the lid off? Because the canister currently is open. It's empty. I don't think I can put anything inside. Like pretty sure it just doesn't let me. Okay. I think we have to fill the canister with something. If we're meant to use the canister, I'm just not sure what. Does this part of the diagram look to you guys like Scarlatti Towers? Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they would give me a canister, especially an empty one, if I'm not supposed to put something in it. I'm just not sure what or how. And I'm getting awfully close to what I feel like is the end of this piece of the story arc. So I'm pretty sure the canister came from that spot close to the beginning. There were where we swap the power between which part of Falitsu Island we're going to. I'm pretty sure that's where we got the canister from. I'll go take a look at that quickly because we're going to be in the area. So when you're switching between this area here and this area, that's a very good possibility. A filled canister could go in there. Over here, you have to switch which set of doors is open. But if you go down, because this is an elevator, we have this funky little thing that I haven't quite figured out yet. It does have a lever. And I think I'm supposed to, like, do something. This might have been where I got the canister, I'm not sure. See, it just goes right back into my inventory. This is the part that doesn't make sense to me. I don't... And the little musical thing it's given me is like, hey, you found an item. You found something for your inventory. So I don't... And the other thing is that this symbol has been a symbol used to indicate the, like, all 4 power levels combined. So I do genuinely feel that's not a button. I genuinely feel like this is probably an important something. I can't put anything else in here, can I? No. The pull 1 step back. This lever? Or... like there's this, but it's just... that's what holds the power, like this piping. This lever is the lever that raises the machine. And I assume we'll lower it again. I don't know what that button does. I just noticed there was something there. That would be a filling sound. Well, now we have a filled canister that we can walk around with. At least we have that. Okay. I can cross canister off my list. We need to make sure we've got the 4231 Flora and Constellation combination ready to go. Somewhere, I'm not sure where, it described the need for two codes, but maybe it meant the Flora code and Constellation code mixed. We got to figure out how to cleanse the Paida. We got to make sure we've got a healthy Neyyah spore, which I think we do. And I think that's where we're gonna call it. The lever below the filler. Oh, actually, that's a good question. I mean, now that the canister's filled, I might not need to do... I don't even know if it'll take this back. Yeah, it won't take it back. I wonder if... See, I did like half of this weeks and weeks ago, months ago. Because this is where I got the canister from in the first place, I remember that. I don't think there's any more we can get from this now. Anyway. Okay. Definitely my bedtime. Let's go back over to our little clickable rock area. And that's where I'll save so that I remember that I'm going right back to... It might have originally opened the lid. You might be right, Maple. I need to make sure I remember that we're going back to the Velatron Temple. So, that's where I'm going to save for this week. And I bet if we go take a look at some point, let's just hang out here. If we were to go back and take a look at the heater chamber, I bet the plant is actually in there now, which maybe we'll do that. I'll leave a note for that too. Look at heater chamber. Okay. Notes for next week. Okay, thanks so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate... Save. Yes, I really appreciate your help. Yeah. We'll catch you next time. Bye.